something in playoffs, he folds like a 10 every time, and it never fails.
That's funny.
Dude needed to be
Right.
traded years ago. Shouldn't have signed him for that stupid 4-year contract that we had. I don't even care if we had to go through 3 more Christian Ponders just to get to somebody decent. I don't care. I would be willing to go that route. Ugh. Jake, how you doing, man? You are muted, by the way. Yeah, we cannot hear you at all.
I might have had my mic muted.
Way to go. Starting with the LEC fumbling already.
I mean,
noted.
You got your own.
You guys were talking about sports that you refuse to compete against other countries in.
True.
Hey, I noticed you got your own football merch on.
Of course, the real football, okay?
Oh, the real football now.
I mean, do we want to talk about numbers? Come on.
I mean, the only team that I care about is Wrexham, so you know.
Oh yeah, Ryan Reynolds team.
Yeah.
You mean the Canadian, not even American?
North American, thank you very much. Isn't that kind of the entire point?
We're all encompassing here, okay?
Yeah.
Well, I think it's ruining my focus. Let me adjust this one.
You're fine. I mentioned Mazel, but Paul is going to be here a few minutes late. He's traveling to where he is deployed at right now to get all of his shit set up. So not sure when he'll join, but if you see him join halfway through, just throw every insult you can at him. It is more than welcomed.
Nice.
Oh, love that.
Because he's going to flip on me. I'm calling before he even gets in here. He's not going to hear this set. I doubt he's listening and pre-watching this. He's going to say that he's cheering for the LCS, then immediately flip to the LPL halfway through.
All
right, if this happens, this happens, I'm here for it. That's all I'll say.
What's funny is, you know, Cubby's here as the LCK representative, but I know he's got LPL love, so yeah, I'm gonna see if I can, you know, sway him.
I got a little bit. I mean, I think pound for pound it's the strongest region, but I think this meta is actually really good for LCK teams. So
pound for pound, let me ask all of you this question: of the 3 people that are in this call that have done work in esports and gotten paid for it, how much of that was from North America?
Oh, it's not a close split.
Over half.
95%, 90%.
Under 10%.
But the point is, you have a percentage. That's all that matters. Welcome to North America, baby.
The percentage of the LCS that is American.
Doesn't matter whether it's 1 player or 5, or whether it's 1 team or 3 that gets out. You got a little bit, and that's all that matters.
Okay.
I'm a big NA fan. It's gonna be hard to watch the LPL versus NA games. I hope we get all those out of the way early. You know, NA loses, so they're on the lower bracket. LPL wins, so I don't have to worry about the verses.
It'll be fine. It's okay. It's okay. I mean,
I'm just so excited. I know Rafa posted it on Twitter, but God, just the fact that Jan and APA get to go and play these games, like, it just makes me so happy. I'm so excited.
As long as you don't listen to the scrim rumors.
Yeah, true.
Then you're fine.
Also, like, our NRG boys, like, holy shit, like, I'm so excited for Big Dokes versus Giga Shy. Like, my God, I cannot wait. My heart is gonna be so torn.
I've been fighting for Dokla to have a starting spot since 2018.
Yeah.
He's finally made it to Worlds.
He's our most valuable prospect.
Should have been for Optic, but, you know, we folded like a tent.
Your expectations are gonna. You're excited about a lot of things that I feel like are gonna fail, but good for you.
It's my heart, you know. You can't sway the heart.
To the podcast listeners listening to this on Spotify, welcome to the Crossover Podcast, episode 96. We never have a formal introduction to this. It kind of just goes. I got 3 very special guests with me that have decided to come on and banter for the sake of banter. Again, all of them technically related to North America in some capacity. So whether they choose another region or not, don't let them lie to you. They're still NA at their core. On my left, we got Covey. On my right, we got Jake. And below me, we have Mazel. Wait, how do you pronounce it again? Mazel. I am going to mess that up many more times.
You're
but
totally
still.
Good, man.
Thank you guys.
If Kangas was here, you'd jump down your throat, but I'm good, you know.
I would run. I know my lesson with Kangas. When his biceps are the size of my head, yeah, I'm not dumb. I know when to pick my fights. I know when to run. I'll just
like a gazelle.
Yeah, I'll compliment him. I'll throw a few things out his way. Hey, you're looking extra bromish today.
Ooh,
Bro,
nice.
Get him
That's
distracted.
a decent term, actually. I like
Yeah.
it.
Hold up a little spoon. Let him look at himself in the mirror, and then all of a sudden, like, we're good.
Little I gotta try that trick when I get home.
So, brought you guys on today to banter a little bit across the LPL, the LCK, the LEC, and the LCS. It will be a 2v1, 2 people for the LCS, 1 person for everybody else, but I kind of figure it's just going to be a free-for-all of everybody kind of going at each other. But I'll just kick this off with the opening question to anybody. Give me a compliment of another region that's not yourself.
Go ahead.
LPL was the deepest region in terms of good teams.
Yeah, Korea's my
not so
goat.
Korea's your
LDC
goat?
representative. Korea's my goat.
I think NA is going to surprise everybody. I think we have some really good underdog moments ahead of us for NA. It's gonna be good.
I think the best part about LEC is that they're going to just choke again. It's going to be great. You have no rogue to save you. It's a compliment because you're staying true to yourself, and that's the important part. Okay,
Right.
never lose sight of who you are, and that is
Right.
fraud.
That's why you're bringing 2 Americans for NA, right? Because you need extra power.
That's what, better than last year? Didn't we have 1 last year?
No. I'm saying for this.
Oh,
Even here, you need extra firepower.
yeah. I mean, hey,
They need all the firepower they can get. Come on.
Wait,
let's
is
be
everyone
real.
else here American?
was that?
Yeah.
Is everyone else here American?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Of course.
I'm technically
I see how
half
it is.
French, so I can say that,
Let's stretch
you
it
know,
out
I
then.
can say.
Let me ask you this:
Oh, no.
those companies on your jersey that you're wearing, American or no?
I honestly could not tell you.
The main
Nike,
2 on the front.
Spotify, I mean, sure.
Yeah. So where's the money come from?
I mean, who are they representing? Who are they supporting?
They're supporting a lot of people, but where does the money come from?
I mean,
Nike, you could argue
Look,
China,
look.
but Spotify, come on.
yeah.
Let's be real.
I mean, Spotify is just from starving artists, no? That's where the money is coming from.
True.
They're taking all their cuts.
1/17 of a penny, you know. Get in there. Yeah.
Yo, let's just be
That
real.
is
Though.
hype.
Kia
That is
is
hype.
the GOAT. You know, they're just driving all of our NA teams to to Korea. You know, they're just supporting everybody. They're just like, you get a sponsorship. You get a sponsorship.
So that's why Golden Guardians couldn't make it over there in time. They were shipping their car instead of flying. Got it.
Oh, that's what it was.
That's
yeah,
why.
yeah.
Yeah. So we could just write that off. It never happened.
I think they were polishing an arrow's head, you know?
I mean, honestly, if you use that for a tax write-off, that might be the most American thing ever, for being real.
That'd be
True.
brilliant. Do I trust management to actually have the intelligence to know that that's a tax write-off? No. Oh man.
That stuff.
Anything else you got good to say? I'll give one legitimate compliment here. Despite the LPL's kind of falter last year, I think you guys retooled in an incredible way. And you guys honestly are going to make a deeper run than Korea will this year, and I think Korea is going to collapse as bad as 2018.
Do we? Okay, let's put this out there. Do we have any opposing views about like what it is going to be? Probably LPL and LCK at the end. Are we aligned on that? And we're supposed to talk crap, but
G2 I think stands a chance to go to finals, depending on the run.
Yeah,
Okay.
it just really depends on. I guess the draw isn't as valid given the format, huh?
it's random, yeah.
Yeah. That's why I think there's a lot of potential for upsets. It's this Worlds, I feel like, is one of the hardest to call exact. Oh, it's gotta be LPL LCK, right? Because Swiss format changes so much.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
but-
the thing.
Bracket stage is the same. It's going to be LPL LCK, I think.
I don't know. I think G2 in a best of series is just actually so annoying to deal with, just given the flexibility of champions. Just draw champions, right? Like the things they will pull out of nowhere. Like, and that's the issue. If they put you on the back foot, just mentally, sometimes like will they pull out something else that will just completely surprise you, and that can just take over, unfortunately, because they do that 2 games, and that could be enough, right, to just then win
Yeah.
one of the others.
So historically, they've like done really well against LCK teams, right?
Mhm.
Like the Caps rosters. I think a lot of that is because of like the flexibility and their willingness to play like really balls to the wall early. Do you think that this is like hard countered by LPL teams, or do you just think it's like been unlucky the few times they went up against them? Because I legitimately think like FPX versus G2 was a close, like it was going to be a close final going in, but they just showed up
that's fair.
like a bad team on the day, right? Like that happens sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious, like, because personally, like if there's any Western team that's getting out, I do think it's G2. Like,
I mean, it
and
always
I think
is
it's pretty
basically,
aligned.
right?
It's
Yeah.
pretty aligned, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that C9 is the most likely for NA, but what's like G2's roadmap for getting out? Because like, yes, they are flexible, but
I mean, if you look pound for
yeah.
pound, just players, right? They do have the roster strength, like genuinely. If you look at just all of the West, at least, I will say top 3 in each role. Easily, right?
Here, follow up on that though. When was the last time Caps had like a really good Worlds? Because if they want to make a
Caps
deep
is
run,
so on and off. That's the thing, yeah.
He's got to show up in 2019 form, and I don't think we've seen that in years.
I mean, I don't know if you've seen like how he builds up from solo queue, and if he goes like demon mode in solo queue, that often builds up to some really, really good performances. And he's been on that demon run in Korean solo queue. He's been doing very, very well. He's practicing his champs. He's practicing meta things, off meta things. We'll see. That's the thing. G2, like especially as you say with Caps, it is really a switch. Like if that switch is on, as we've seen, they can go finals. You know, like it can happen. Because if you look at the Raw roster, arguably this is a better roster. It's just they have not. It's just the competition also leveled up further. Is the main issue. Just pound for pound, the roster is better, I would say. It's just the competition is just much harder. Especially like, yeah, for sure.
Okay, because I think that like the 29 G2 team was the best one we've seen, right? And there are similar elements of it. But I would still like if I have to take one of those two rosters, I'm still taking that year's roster because like
at all the time, yes,
like that's fair, but also like I don't know, like the whole game evolves, right? Like so there's so many teams now that like are so much better, right? I think that's like kind of curious because for me, I think that like what we saw of G2 at MSI at least, I think that like a lot of that team depends on the kind of caps that we get to show up, but I am also a little bit worried about Broken Blade. I think he was the strongest player at MSI, but this is I'd say a meta where I expect him to be a little bit more comfortable, but the one thing that I really believe the LPL has is like strength of top laners. I think that they're like they're way stronger than like what even LCK is bringing for top laners, pending Zayu's form. And I'm kind of curious how G2 deals with that because they like to ignore top a lot.
It's kinda, but I think first of all, MSI is, keep in mind, Yikes first international. He was coming in very fresh, right? Like he's had a year to build up now. Like,
he did pretty well too. Like
that's the thing, right? And I think he only got better because he's getting more confidence from his teammates, getting the results, you know, seeing things progress and move on. I think just going back quickly to the 2019 roster, I think generally just that was a really bad year for Korea. That's why I think then the G2 roster looked better. So I think that's like a big factor. But I would take this pound for pound. I think the main arguable thing would be jungle, just given Jankos' just being such a veteran, right? Just being really a king of the region, like but that is also like an interesting idea of the prospect. What can Yike do, right? I think that's and you know being paired with Broken Blade and Hansama now. I think that's really good also.
I think my biggest worry for Yike is obviously like time of development, right? I think being an aggressive jungler can be so strong. One of my favorite junglers, Shun from BLG, right? He was very aggressive when he started out. He was a Nidalee, Hecarim, like try to be very aggressive a couple of years ago. But the thing is you have to be confident in that, but you also have to be flexible. And I think Yike doesn't have that flexibility yet. And I think he'll learn and grow a lot because of this world and grow into that. But I think he's going to hit a hard wall where he wants to be a carry, he wants to try and be that guy from the jungle, but that's just not going to be able to fit the mold. So I'm really interested because I think Yike is a very, very good prospect. I just wonder how he's going to fold into this Worlds, especially.
I think that's very fair. I think, if anything, scrims will be a huge factor for him, for either him getting crushed and how he would recover from it. Because either he will lose too much confidence, or he will just level up. And if he levels up, we'll see where it goes, right? But yeah, definitely, because he came from the ERLs, right? Where he was basically known as the Kha'Zix guy. He would play Kha'Zix no matter what into anything, and he will just win. That's the thing. So he came in with confidence. I think we saw, especially like in the first 2 splits, I guess, because now 3 split bullshit with fucking LEC, whatever. We saw a lot of random early invades where he would just die on invade because either bot lane doesn't move fast enough, because he's not waiting enough, whatever. And I think we saw that improve. It's not perfect still from what we've seen, but it improved. And I think that's just a part of the growth, right? He was still pushing, and I'm really happy that he was dying in those invades because he is pushing his playside, which is important. So he does learn the lessons on stage and not just, this is how we play in scrims, and then I will just sit back and farm my camps 24/7 on stage, because that is
completely agree. You can't lose that edge, right? Like, you can't just back down, but you also have to know where you can improve. And I think he has the mindset for that, right? From watching him just this last year. So.
I mean, I can tell you even a bit more about his backstory, because back in 2020 spring, I was actually against him in the Nordic League. He didn't even make playoffs, I think, on that team, to then be here now, in this little bit of time. That is unreal. Because he went to, I believe, after that, he went to France Division 2, instantly promoted. France Division 1, LFL, of course. Won everything, won EU Masters. You know, like, the guy just exploded. I don't know what happened, what take, if there was something, but at least the track record is crazy in terms of where he was and where he is now.
So, I think JDG is like the clear-cut favorite in most people's eyes to win it, but I want us to focus on Swiss stage. Only 2 teams can go undefeated, quote-unquote. You could drop a game in the best of 3 promotion series, but only 2 can get out without dropping a game or a series. What 2
JDG
teams...
ain't making it undefeated.
Well, so that's the thing. Is like, even though JDG's favorite, I don't think many people would probably pick them to just clean slate Swiss. Who are your 2 teams that you have going undefeated?
So hard.
Wait, that's not Pickens, right? I can look.
I'm gonna take Genji. And then I don't know. I honestly I will say this is gonna be kind of a weird one, because I don't think either of these teams are expected to go undefeated, but I think the winner of BLG versus KT is gonna have a lot of momentum on their side. Like round 1, that's clearly the hardest matchup, at least on paper. And I think that if you win that game, that's going to give you, like, if I'm a team, that's going to give me so much confidence I'm actually able to do well in that game, like early in the tournament, right? Because like you instantly, like for me, there's really no more nerves to have if you can like get out of that game with a win, right? I think really highly of, especially KT's early game, and BLG just pulls off like some crazy stuff. I think it's gonna be a really good meta for Bin too, which is gonna be a really.
Hey, mine are T1 and BLG.
The interviews with T1 don't scare you at all?
Nah. I think Fager's really feeling himself this time, especially with the meta. I think he's going to have a really strong voice in how they win. Okay. Because I think mid lane's going to have a lot of influence as a whole this time around. I guess it usually does.
This is like a bit jumping around, but I actually think that this like meta sets up really well for LCK teams. I'm actually really concerned about mid lane meta for a couple of the LPL players that are not named Scout.
Why do you think it's favoring LCK?
I think that every Worlds where it's been Control Mage or Ori meta, LCK has actually performed like really, really well. Like thinking of the Worlds that they dropped was like Season 8 and 9 was the weakness of LCK, and that was really like not based around Control Mage play like at all. Like Rookie had his Orianna, but he was literally picking Ori because he was just that much better than everyone else. My argument for last year...
Bro.
What's up?
I feel like you're forgetting about the original Dre. You're forgetting about Xiaohu, man.
Wow. Yeah, but Xiaohu is always, for me, best at like impacting map. And I think
with Rise and stuff,
Yeah, I think his Syndra play was like, I mean, obviously it's a fantastic champ of his, but like if I see Control Mage meta, like even BDD for me, like is actually a strong player in this meta, where it's like Ori Talia. Like he's historically really good at these champs. And I think that LCK as a whole, if we're gonna boil it down to like, EY5 terms, this is like LCK as a region. I think they benefit more when games slow down versus LPL teams.
Definitely, yes.
And I think this is a meta where things will slow down. Now, JDG is the best marksman team fighting team in the world, right? So that's going to be a concern because I think that ultimately it's going to boil down to marksman play, and I would take JDG and Ruler for that.
Yeah,
but I think as a whole,
helps.
yeah, I think as a whole, I think that the LPL versus LCK, like if I had to pick one region, I would actually pick LCK, even though I'm saying that like LPL as a region, they're the deepest in terms of talent, like in terms of good teams. Like there are 3 teams from the LPL that I think could win games at Worlds and be like competitive, right? I can't say that for LCK. But I think the teams that LCK are sending are actually, I think the meta sets up pretty well for them.
I think always the biggest question for LCK's performance is going to be, will Genji choke? Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
what kind of peanut will we see, you know?
That's the thing, because to me, Chovy is the fucking GOAT. Like, the guy is unreal. How he controls just the lane in itself, just that part is just art. It's a work of art. And I think with this meta, that's great for him also. Because I think, as we saw like last year, where we had Silas Akali, where we saw then Zeka shine. Like, incredible Worlds performance. But that's a very different meta, where I think this will be very good for, of course, someone like Chovy. But at the same time, for LPL, you do have Knight, you do have Scout, which do not hate this meta.
Scout's gonna be like, I think, the best mid from LPL. I started this with the clause of like Scout.
I mean, he was the best mid, yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's insane. But like I also said this last year. Like I thought that last year a lot of people were sleeping on LCK teams, who I think fundamentally one of the reasons that I actually thought LCK teams did really well last year is that as a region, they play Azir significantly better outside of LPL, outside of Scout, which is funny because like Scout is obviously, you know, LCK Faker trainee. Yep. But Azir, for me, was a really defining champion of last year's meta because it was one of the ways you could keep Silas Akali down early. And also Silas Akali, like there were ways to beat Azir, but it was a pretty common matchup we saw. I thought the LCK Azir play outside of Scout was worlds better than LPL Azir's. Who like really, like, I mean, this is like very champion specific. Like one of the things that I really looked for and was very common in LCK games was a lot of junglers would clear 3 camps and then just walk through mid to get Azir to E, just to get mana out. I never saw LPL teams attempt this.
Yeah, definitely.
Like for the most part, right?
No.
What's up, Mizel?
I'm, you know, if you have another point, I can continue. But for the sake of banter, I think the real conversation is how many games versus NA are LCK and LPL going to get, and I think that's really going to determine.
The right answer is none, because when we lose our first round matchups, we never have to worry about seeing you guys again. We just have to beat Europe and we're fine.
Based.
Because okay, here's the thing.
Oh no.
I don't oh no me, Paul. You're on my side. Okay.
The team killer already.
While we have swapped off winners, so 2019 was LPL, 2020 was LCK, 2021 was LPL, 2022 was LCK. There's been one consistent factor, and that is that the LCK has topped their group 3 out of the 4 times each and every year, with the exception of 2020, I think, or 2019. I think it was split 2-2. No, sorry, 2019 was still 3. Griffin, T1, and Dam1 topped their group. Fun plus Phoenix topped Group B. It was 2020 where the LPL and LCK split. The LCK are group/Swift stage killers. I have faith in somebody from the LPL to fuck this up bad enough to
the series, which is good.
Sure,
LPL need best of series, man, because they're gonna send it and lose a game, and it's gonna be chill now.
Yeah,
but I have full faith that the Shy can run it down for a full best of 3. I'm not worried.
I mean, he can.
Don't let Kedril hear you. The poor guy made a whole song and everything.
The picture they posted of him is literally perfect. He will be the devil, and he will also be the angle. It's ridiculous. That man is a force. But like, I think that there's a lot of doubt, I guess, towards Weibo. I know this is going off like an LPL tangent, but I actually think besides their bot lane, they have some of the strongest top trio, right? And I think that a lot of people are going to see them from the West that are like, oh, they're the easiest of the LPL team. And then they're going to go up against them. They're going to get smashed because just a hands diff in lane, right? So I'm very interested at how Weibo come out and if they can kind of prove the doubters wrong. Because I think they have the possibility, right?
if NRG does pull off the upset over Weibo, do you think people will actually give NRG credit for the win?
I mean, it depends.
They'll probably
I've seen Weibo look like a lot of different teams within the same 5 minutes of play.
But that's against the PL teams, right? That's the thing.
Yeah, look, I have come to terms with the fact that we are never going to beat the LCK. That's fine. I'm chill with that. I'm not going to contest that. I feel like we can take the LPL.
Ooh,
in a best of one.
That's a spicy take.
If it's just Weibo, then
bro, all I hear is cap.
It's maybe the only reason Weibo leaves the door open is because they just randomly run it. Yeah. And if you randomly run it, NRG is like,
I randomly run it.
Yeah, but if the Shy runs it, like NRG is actually a pretty good team fighting team. So if you give them a 4v5, I mean they're not great, I get it, but they can win a 4v5 maybe. Yes, they're as good as we're gonna get. That's the position we're in.
Do, you know, Scrim Room just goes so hard out here.
You know, I put NRG as the third best NA team.
Why though? Okay, no, hang on.
Did as
we
well,
gotta have
actually.
Why?
I will simply tell you why.
That's fair.
At this level, right, in Worlds, when you face these teams, these players, you need players who can clutch, who can actually step up to a high enough level. NRG only did this because the others underperformed. It is generally, to me, that's how it looked. I think that's why I put C9 first still, because their highest highs are not close to any other team in NA. And I would put TL second for the same reason, because I think Core can also really, really help control the team and elevate them to at least play a lot better on the map and everything. NRG, to me, I don't know. I can't point to strength. Like, a pure, like, strength where I'm like, okay, this guy can actually beat the players in lane or something. I just can't. That's my.
It's gonna have to be a team effort, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think if you can't survive the first 20 minutes, you can never win a game. That's the issue.
The one thing, and I know this is not a very uplifting argument for NRG, but they are really good at taking what you give them. Like, that's the only thing they can do, and I know that's not like actually a reason why they could win. Right. But if there's one team that could give them a chance, it'd probably be Weibo, just because of the Shy running it down, and then them going, "Hey, we'll take what they gave us, and we'll try to turn it." Now the problem is, in League of Legends, you have to do that like 5 times. So I don't know if they can take what you give them 5 times in a row and actually end a game, but that would be their only win con.
That's fair.
What amazing!
But that is why I rank them. That way.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair, because that whole run, I'm not gonna lie, I'm still a hater of them, and I will be.
You've been a hater of Dogla for 3 years. I don't want to hear it.
Yep, and I just will continue.
No, get off our MVP back.
And like, if they falter, it won't really hurt me.
But what? Okay, I get teams collapse, but teams collapse every year in North America. Honestly, name me a year in the last 5 that it hasn't happened. I don't think there's
teams collapse everywhere always, right?
Exactly.
I mean, you have the Flag West, we have the Vitality, right? Like this year, for example.
Yeah. If there's anybody that I have more faith in, it's arguably the unknown factor. Like, you're saying that they don't have the clutch factor. We haven't seen half of this roster at the international stage, or at least with contracts. It's been God knows
for a reason.
Yeah, but now they're there.
For a reason.
David, I'm here, and I'm risking the off season, okay? With the NATOX. So, what I've seen from Douglas POVs does not make me very happy when I look at the game, okay?
But does it win?
The things he does, no, he does fucking not. He is stuck in Master.
He's the champion!
Brother, in Korea, I'm saying in Korean solo queue, what I'm seeing from POVs, he is stuck in the most disgusting level of humans. It is unreal.
Yeah,
it is.
And my Jhin is absolutely disgusting as well, but it's got a 70% win rate. If it wins, it wins.
That fucking stream off. It is disgusting.
If it wins, it wins. That's all that matters. I don't care how it looks. Look, it could be the ugliest turd in the world, but at the end of the day, if it still is up on the pedestal, guess what? It's all that matters.
Yo, a thrown turd still hurts, all right?
I'm just saying
that's my issue.
It doesn't have to look pretty so long as it gets done. That's my only claim to fame on this, and that's gonna be my pitch for the entire LCS. It doesn't
That's
matter
fair,
how we
that's
do
fair.
it.
I mean, G2, I don't think G2 have ever played pretty in any roster, you know?
Mhm.
They've always bashed heads all the time, so I fully support that, don't worry. It's just I don't think they're them, you know? I don't think so.
I think NRG got really lucky that the meta swapped in summer. Like, I think FBI and Ignar in this meta versus the meta that we had previously is just like night and day. And props to them, like they did round it out well. And I will say that I do think Contract, I think very highly of Contracts. I actually think Contracts is like an actually good player. And any hope that NRG has at Worlds, I think actually kind of rides on him. Because
I think my biggest problem is the influence from lanes is going to be
Yeah.
ridiculously important in this meta, and you can't just have a good jungler, right? You have to have a mid that knows how to roam timer with your jungler if he's being aggressive, things like that. Like, so I agree, but I also think it can be a big downfall, and I even say that for LCK, LPL teams, right? Like, if you don't have that synergy, it's not going to work out. And I think, like, just as an example for LPL teams, right? Like, Yagao and Shun have not always had the best connections. If they don't have it on point for Worlds, they are going to bomb out. And that's just a fact, right? But I think that's a fact for everybody.
So then what NA team inspires you faith then? Because honestly, there's no way you can tell me that M&S Blabber and APA Piosic inspire more confidence than Palafox and Contracts. There's no way you can honestly.
It's so low that I don't know if there is. Like, I would say the best one out of all of them would be NRG, but that's, there's a certain level they're not going to cross, I feel like.
I mean, arguably, MNS is a threat because he can maybe tilt them by being racist or some shit and all that.
I have
Maybe
the most
not against
C9.
LCK, maybe LPL, you know?
I think Blabber and Berserker are two players that can actually play at the level of like their opponents, no matter
I would
who
not
they're
say
going up
Blabber.
against.
I agree.
Okay, so
Ooh.
I agree that it's more so Berserker. I think Berserker's nuts. I think
Sven
Blabber,
is decent.
yeah,
also.
Zen's fine. I'm biased towards Sven because I think his mindset is what you need to be successful in this game, and I will always say that.
I need
That's fair.
the Ruler versus Berserker. Like, I need that matchup. I want to see it so bad.
I really don't.
What?
I mean, the rest of the map is gonna make it pretty boring.
Berserker's like actually good. I do think
Oh,
that
he is.
Blabber, like earlier in his career, like some of the issues that he had, like I will never forget the MSI where the meta was like Morgana Rumble, and he just couldn't play it. Right. I actually think that he's taken good strides to be much more meta proof than what he used to be, which is important. And I guess I have more faith in him than I did in past years. Pretty much because of that. That's the best argument I have for Blabber. I think some of the other junglers that he's going up against, of course, are going to be a little bit better, but also Blabber's going to be hampered by lanes. Because Fudge and M&S have to play better than what they did in LCS Summer if they want to be successful at Worlds.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how are we feeling about Fudge? Because I haven't followed NA like enough this year, but I don't think he's been too hot, right?
I think Fudge got. I'm always a little bit hard on Fudge because I think that Fudge, like the history of NA, right? If you have Impact or Someday, you're likely going to be a decent team. Like there really haven't been a lot of top laners that have like actually gone up against those two and like been able to consistently win. Fudge is one of the rarities, like he actually has in the past. That wasn't the case this split. I think Fudge didn't lane well in LCS, and that does concern me moving forward.
For sure.
He's also the lowest ranked of any C9 player in solo queue right now, and the least games played.
To be fair, I will say top lane in solo queue is pretty dog shit to climb. From all roles, it is the hardest to climb by far.
You have a lot.
How you gonna throw?
No.
Not for
But I
Juju.
did not look at just his fucking rank, okay, for Dokla. I looked at the fucker's clicks. I looked at everything. I don't want to look at it again, okay? Simple. No.
I mean, if we're just going off the grind set, TL's winning Worlds this year, right? Like,
No, look, I have faith in TL.
y'all
I have some
and
faith.
APA is grinding.
So do you have TL as the most successful in A team actually?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, game one's gonna make them sad.
Yeah, but here's the thing. I think if people are not familiar with Swiss, you'd rather have that hard matchup early. Get knocked down,
Yeah.
get the easier opponent the next round, and bounce back and try and get some momentum and start climbing. because it's going to be easier to win a 0-1 then 1-1 matchup than it's going to be to win that 1-1 where it's likely just going to be LCK or LCK LPL.
I don't think that's true for TL. I think mid AD will lose too much confidence, getting crushed. It's too new to them. I think it's too new to them.
So I will say that with at least APA, it's going to come from a bit of bias too, but I think we have actually seen APA to like take some hits throughout the split. I guess first playoff series on the LCS stage was like absolutely brutal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like he played Tristan in the Palafox so terribly, and he looks like tactical on TL all over again with the Trist, right? APA did bounce back from that,
Sure.
and I think that we have seen a few instances where like APA has like at least shown some mental toughness. Like I think that like he will say he's not going to be nervous playing at a game of Worlds against Faker. He probably will be.
He'll be
But-
shitting himself.
100%.
Yeah, I think that we have seen APA though like improve from points like that in the past, and that's like I'm hoping that like that ends up shining through for him in the end, because yeah, I mean let's be honest, he's gonna need a little bit of help or need it. He's going up against someone that's pretty good at the game. So
And I
I
think,
think
he
my
has
biggest
Fusik,
worry
but that which does
mentally-
not help.
what's up?
Yeah, I think my biggest worry mentally for TL is Jan. I love Jan. He's one of my favorite players I've ever watched grow up. He is very emotional. So I really hope that he understands that going against Gumayushi in the first round is something of a learning experience, something for him to like realize what is that level that I need to be at, and not use it as like a negative.
I don't know. I actually have faith in the TL camp. Like they went through a lot of crap this year. Like if there's any team that, like I feel like is actually like not going to be like affected mentally, I don't want to say it's going to be TL because I think it's like I'm not worried about the mentalities of the NA teams going. I really
They
am
have
not.
talent. That's all
I mean,
I'm
I think it's
saying.
like such.
not great. It's not great.
I think it's such a
just look
tough
at
ask in the
everybody
first
else that's
place. I think it's such a tough ask in the first place to beat these teams. Like you can kind of go into it with a decent mindset based on that. Quite frankly.
My NA ranking is TL, NRG, C9, 1, 2,
Really?
3.
That would probably be mine, or maybe flip flop NRG TL.
Really?
Based on blind faith that NRG will find a way to overcome it.
Wow.
Blind faith, let's go.
This is
I
curious, man.
don't see how you can look at C9 and look at their performance last year and say that it's going to be literally any different.
No, it doesn't matter. They just have the best player in NA, which is Berserker. That's simple. No, I'm serious.
I would say that's right.
I mean, I'll
I
agree
mean-
with you, but like if his team isn't performing around him as they
Of
did
course.
in finals
But
and
I think
as they did in the
I
regular
don't think they'll
season.
win a single fucking series. You know, but
Oh,
that's
really?
the thing. At the end of the day, that's the issue. Because if you are to have someone step up, you need to have someone good enough.
Okay, so C9 Matt, how is this going then?
Actually, that one they do have a bit of a chance because Mad is always. I mean, Mad at internationals.
Brother
Yeah.
Niski.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Bro, dude, Niski's out for revenge. Not revenge, but a little bit of extra gas in the tank from racing
And-
C9.
It's the Nick Bosa effect. MNS against a European team.
Oh,
When
yeah.
you get the right matchup, you just have enough hate to push you through.
I appreciate the football reference.
Thank you. But really, C9 probably is best off with Matt. I know you don't believe in Blabber as much as we do, but I do think like Blabber is probably like him and Berserker are the best chance NA would have because
Yeah, that's
Blabber is still one of our best junglers.
I'm really excited for
Issue
him
is-
versus Elyoya. Elyoya is really
issue
good.
is Elyoya has been unbelievable.
He's really good.
Actually unbelievable. Like
good player.
the guy, what he's doing, I think it really helps because we know Hillesang ends every fucking game, okay? But the guy, the amount of pressure he puts on the map, really helped unlock Elyoya. And then as long as his lanes are able to at least not fall apart completely, they can do things. They can definitely do things.
that's
And
the
I
thing
really
that-
believe in Cars is stepping up too.
That's what
'Cause,
scares me. Because
Cars
he
is
can
crazy.
Hillsong can into Sven 20 times and Sven still won't do shit. So
I don't know.
as long as Berserker gets every kill, then maybe. But if Sven starts taking some of those 10 deaths, then we got problems.
I don't know.
Well, really, with
It's
Blabber
hard.
though, you'll know in the first 5 minutes. if
Oh,
he's
yeah.
on or not. Like, we'll all
Look at
probably know.
Scuttle's
We'll be
spawn, guys,
like,
okay?
we'll see how the first 5 minutes goes, and then we'll go, uh, well, long day. Or we'll go, we told them. We told the world we had this right in the bag.
So what's the chances then of, okay, BDS I think we can all write off in the first match. But beyond that, do BDS and Fnatic have a chance of getting out?
I felt like throughout the plans, I saw two different versions of BDS.
Mhm.
And I think that it's kind of funny. Like, I'm kind of curious what like your read is on this. As someone like that's watched more EU, but I actually feel like the weak link to that team is, at least from what I saw so far, was actually Crowny. I was a little bit surprised by that. Like, I actually thought
That's
like the
fair.
reason they got through was the Brav. Like, I thought the Brav was actually nuts in that series against PSG. But I think Crowny, like, they were trying to play around the Ezreal champ pool, which I kind of like because they would actually play through Adam. And I will say that the other weakness is Adam because that guy's Jekyll and Hyde on his champs versus not his champs. Like,
Yeah, but it's best of ones, right? Like that's
it is.
perfect. That's literally
That
what you
is
would
just
want.
very good for BDS, yes.
It is
That's
a
the thing.
bit, but like also I watched this guy play Jax, and I really don't want to see Jax again.
No, you should not.
Just don't let him play
Definitely.
Jax. Just take
Yeah,
Jax away
it
from
was
him.
not.
But that's the thing. Did you guys see any of his Scion?
I did.
So, the Sion was.
The level 1 things?
Yeah, I mean that's fine. Like, BDS can like try and cheese wins, but
But that's the thing, right? In best of ones, you can find those wins.
You
The
can.
other big thing that Adam does very, very well, I think it was it game 2 against GG. I think it was Garen who was behind. And the amount of pressure he just put on the map while being useless, in a sense, just won them the game.
Mhm.
Because he just understood his role in that game. It's not getting resources anymore. He's never going to carry that game. He will just get in their fucking heads. And guess what happened? They just collapse because they're like, wait, what's going on? And then they four-man him bot lane. Stixay has never seen a guard in his life and gets one shot. 1v4. That's the thing. He has that, like, he really gets in your head.
That happens
And
twice.
he was disrespected for years with his champs and everything, right? But
Mhm.
he does have that really important thing where he is able to just be completely selfless, understand his role in the game now in the draft, and be able to actually become a lot more valuable than expected or than he should be. And again, in best of ones, that can be a big pain because you don't
Yeah.
know how to deal with that instantly because you're not used to that player. What other players like Adam? He's so fucking weird. Like, that's the thing. Like, I've gone on and off all the time of like liking him and hating him. It's just all the time, and especially because again, he's been in ARLs. I've seen him for years, so he's always been this guy. But it's interesting. Also, another underrated thing is I think the BDS staff is very good, which
Oh, yeah?
helps a lot with preparing.
Okay.
And that's why I remember it was, I think, Vulcan stream. I was chatting to him a bit, and he asked like, what everyone thinks. I told him it's gonna be it's just not gonna be close with GG and the BDS, just because there's gonna be a huge gap in preparation.
Really? I mean, because I remember like talking with GG. They felt like they were a team that like were a little bit Jekyll and Hyde, and I think we saw that.
Mhm.
And if they weren't feeling themselves or didn't have confidence in themselves, then like they wouldn't push forward, and that's I think that ended up coming to fruition, unfortunately.
That's fair.
I mean, every team's different in that case, right? Like mentally where you're at, and I think we definitely saw them falter, which is too bad.
Mm-hmm. Oh, actually, because I just remember what you actually asked, because it was like you said, Crowny seemed to be like the weakest performer.
Yeah.
I think he gets in his own head a lot. I think
Okay.
he expects, if he's playing here, he expects to always be at the absolute top. He will want to push for that. He will make 2 fuck ups, and it's instantly like, wait, who am I? I'm not ruler. What's going on? And it just gets in
Okay.
his head. I think genuinely it's like that. He really wants to be like the absolute best, but it also eats him up immediately. That's the issue, I think. That's why the
So
performance.
it's self-imposed
I can
issues.
respect that. I can respect that
Yeah.
though.
I think you will see, like, that's the thing. I'm very used to it with how Europeans are. You get some random fucking 16-year-old from Serbia who just has nothing going good in his life, has had a shit childhood, and just wants to be the absolute fucking crackhead god to just accomplish something. Like, genuinely, I get this all the time in Europe. Like, it's like a really, really sick thing. Like, that's why I love working in Europe, but it also then can bite you back in the ass. That's simple.
That's curious. Who places better between NA and EU? I don't know. Like, do you like want to give out like any like hot takes?
Oh, what? Sorry.
If you
any like hot takes like we want to give out like about like
Oh.
worlds like in general. I don't know.
if you exclude G2, I think we finish exactly the same.
Really?
I
No,
think there's
no.
going to be no
You
difference.
can't exclude their
the
best
team?
team.
I'm saying like I think we're all like
If we take out GDG, LCK's just gonna
Yeah,
absolutely
it's fine,
dominate
right?
LPL.
Just take out LPL. It's fine. It ain't wins.
fine. Then
Yeah, go back
I'll
to
be
Season 1 Worlds.
I'll be
Season 1
wi-
Worlds.
I'll be
Let's go
willing to say
Fnatic.
this. One of the European teams is going to bomb out 0-4.
Ooh.
I mean, yeah, it's gonna be.
I think
BDS.
it's going to be BDS. I think Fnatic's
I
got
don't
like
think so.
I think BDS or Mad going 0-4 is not a hot take at all.
I'm
I'm
a-
gonna be mad.
I'm
I
a
think BDS
big-
are gonna go 0-4 to
It,
best of
it
one.
depends on the round 1 matchup for Mad.
I'm a big believer in superstitions, and we are at the 5-year anniversary of Soaz breaking his wrist, in the same way that Oscar
my
Renan broke his wrist.
Why
So-
do you know this? What?
So, just saying. 5 years later,
Just saying.
what happened the year that Soaz broke his wrist?
Big boy Butbo.
Exactly.
Oh dear.
Oh,
The problem is they don't have Wonder, so they're gonna bomb out 1 and 5.
But they do have Wonder.
Yeah, but he's not playing. Oscar Renan's gonna try and play and
I
then break
mean,
his hand
maybe-
again.
Maybe the manager is seeing Oscar's performance. He'll break his hand again. You know.
They
No. I actually really am happy with Oscar this year. It's again another rookie year, by the way. Like
He got a
incredible,
lot
because
better.
started
He got a
really
lot
bad.
better.
I will
Yeah, he got a lot
Really
never
bad.
ever forget his start. That first game
But
was
no,
a
but
thing of
that's
beauty.
actually super valuable, I think, because he can look back at that himself.
Oh, I know. It's but
be like,
it's
you know?
great, but it's like I will
Yeah.
never let him live that down. Ever.
Oh, sure, but he'll stomp any team that he'll face. So we'll see.
Luckily, he's not going to face him because you're going to lose to Vietnam.
Okay. Oh, I was gonna make a joke. Okay.
We
too
already
many
took our
Americans
L's
here
to
right
Vietnam.
now.
no.
All
Uh,
I'm saying is that JDG, even though I bet on LNG more than I do JDG because I think they think about the game better. They are more flexible in their styles. They can play LCK style. They can play LPL style. I still believe in the Golden Road. I still believe that we're going to have a monumental, historical moment here in this world. And I think JDG is going to bring it home.
So this is actually a bit of my hot take coming into Worlds, which is I don't think JDG wins.
I'm with you.
And I mean that's I guess it's hot, like not really a hot take saying the favorite's not going to win, but I think part of the reason that no one's ever accomplished the Golden Road is that that's a taxing fucking journey from start to finish.
It is a
right?
lot of games over a year.
It's so many
If
games.
they
a lot of
lose, I'm
games.
blaming Asia Games. That's all I'm saying.
It's much harder to compete at your best when you are the best, right? It just goes for anything in life.
I will say, lucky for them, LNG exists and have pushed them to be better. I will say that.
I mean, I think that LPL again as a region has like 7 teams that are actually like.
Sure, but I think
legitimately
LNG
good.
specifically have really been able to push them, because that's always been a huge issue for G2. No one fucking pushes them enough.
Yeah.
That's just been the big issue of EU not going further. It's just always G2 and no one fucking pushes them. That's always been the big gripe we've had, to do better internationally.
If it would have been BLG, I think that I would look less highly on JDG. If it would have been BLG that they faced in back-to-back best of fives, gone the distance, right? I think it would have been a different story. I think them going against LNG, them being pushed in just the finals in 3 different styles that they had to overcome, and to go to a game 5 where Tarzan just ends it by picking Lilia. Like, LNG should have won LPL this year. But I think JDG learned a lot because of it. I think they're going to be better because of it.
I mean, you mentioned Asia Games itself. I mean, again, I think it's like really taxing on these players. Like Molecule is posting like all those players playing like the champs they need to prep for Worlds, like or Asia Games and Worlds, like building like weird stuff like Jax without like Shojin in the patch where Shojin was like monster OP, right?
Oh yeah, because they were like 4 patches behind or something, no, for Asia.
It's 13-12. Yeah.
They were
insane.
they were
It
like
was
7
insane.
patches behind.
Yeah,
It was brutal.
that was unreal.
So
I
I mean,
don't
again,
agree with the narrative of like saying, "Oh, their performance at Asia Games was shit, so they're going to be shit at World." I don't agree.
I mean,
whatsoever, but I see
Konami
that,
and
like,
Ruler played great.
perpetuated
at Asia
a lot,
Games.
right?
Look, you
Konami and
cannot.
Ruler played great.
There's no way that you will ever get me to believe that Kanavi and Ruler didn't just, slip a band over to Team China and be like, look, you int this, I run it down at Worlds. I don't want to do military service. I will commit to you for 5 more years as long as you give me
JDG
this
did
fucking
that.
gold.
JG just said, "Hey guys, we're trying to complete the Golden Road, and we want to
Yeah.
do it twice. So if you could just get us some free military non-service, that'd be sick."
Would be nice. Maybe it was in Ruler's contract or something when he signed, If this happens specifically.
In the fine text.
A page we're not allowed to read.
Yeah, the classified one.
The classified page.
I a little biased here, but I know we talked a little bit more about LPL here, but like for me, it's not only do we have strong representatives, it's the fact that LPL is not just a one-dimensional region. It feels like this time around, it's not just full-on aggression. Let's hands diff you. It's yes, JDG is going to do that. LNG is going to pick you apart by the brain. BLG is going to try to build a couple different things, especially around top side of the map, trying to get Elk situated for later, right? I think we have a lot of different styles, which is not always something you can say about LPL.
I still think though that LPL teams will force their style before they adapt to others, and I do think that like some of the top teams have gotten more flexible. But I think one of my like takes or ideas when it actually came to like Worlds and what I saw like coming into this tournament this year, actually the LCK playoffs actually gave me a lot more faith in LCK teams than I had before playoffs. I thought before playoffs LCK was like in a pretty rough spot where it's like, all right, Gen.G zoning, but like does Peanut get exposed again when he goes international? KT's a fun team to watch play early game, and after that it was kind of like, well, like what else is going on here? Because like Faker was hurt. Like it was like a lot of things like up in the air, right? I really like LCK. Like the playoffs actually really built some faith back for me in LCK and like their ability to go international. And again, I think pound for pound, like it might be a bit of a hot take, but I actually think that LCK will outperform LPL. I think LPL is a deeper region. JDG are the tournament favorites coming in, but I think that when the scoreboard, like at the end of the day, I will say that LCK head-to-head has a better record against LPL and also will win more series overall.
I mean, definitely not internationally this year, though.
I mean, not including MSI, but even MSI was close, right? Like, it was 5 games.
T1,
Yeah.
T1 JDG was close, but what was the Gen G series when they got knocked out? Well, I legitimately don't remember the scoreline of that.
I don't either.
Was it 3-1?
Let me look it up.
I don't remember. Yeah.
Because
I do-
Oh god.
I was gonna say I do kind of agree though. Like LCK, because I was put on nights this year at my job, so I watched a lot of LCK. And regular season, I was worried too until Faker came back, and then watching T1 kind of push everybody is kind of the same LNG argument. Like LNG keeping JG there really kept Gen G there too, but Pays is just so good, and it's kind of crazy.
My boy Mao, Chronicler, he was on the Pays train from day one. I was an early convert. No one watches more challengers than Mao, and he's like, this guy's really good. And guess what? This guy's really good.
Yeah.
Kind of nasty good. Yeah.
Yeah. The kid is crazy. He's 17, no? Like, it's crazy. Like, oh my
Yeah.
God.
Parents hired him a tutor for League of Legends, like a coach,
Oh
a
my
positional
God.
coach as a kid.
Wait, wasn't
Like
there
he's
the
built
thing
for this.
when Faker won his first Worlds, Pays was like 7, I think. I saw something.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
Jesus, like how does that happen? Like, it's
Yeah, but luckily Ruler is in China now, so that kind of does help
That does
even it
help.
out. And Gala being back in form is just so fun for me because I've been a Gala stan like
It's Gala.
permanent.
I-
Yeah,
I am a
he's so
notorious
fun.
I'm a notorious Gala hater, actually. I think this
Really?
guy's a
I've
fraud.
been-
I actually think this guy's a fraud.
You're ridiculous. You're ridiculous. I think the fact that like not only is LNG finally finding success after so long, they've literally tried for so many years to build around Tarzan, and they have not found success. I originally thought that Tarzan Doonby was going to be like the bloodiest mid jungle duo. It was going to be incredible. They bombed out. But the fact that Scout comes over from EDG to make a new legacy, Gala comes over from RNG to make a new legacy, and this whole year has been building to this. Like, God, I'm so excited for this team, man.
The only thing I'll say, because I looked up MSI. It was a 3-0 BLG over Gen G and a 3-1 BLG over T1. I will give the LCK credit that they are looking better, but you got serious mental issues when it comes to finals, regardless of whatever team it is.
Yeah.
If JDG is there, or any LPL team is there, there's no scenario, regardless of how strong the team looks going into that final, that you will be able to get me to pick the LCK team over the LPL.
That's interesting. I don't know. I like T1 to me is not a perfect team. Like, as much as I love Faker, you know, he's a good mid laner that's not a great mid laner anymore, right? Like, I think
this meta fits him so well.
But I think jungle is also an issue then.
Yeah, like if Lee Sin's playable, Lee Sin Viego is owner's jam. Like Jarvan.
Lee Sin is such a bad fucking champion. Pros until they're in the fucking game, I swear.
Jarvan for owner is also really good. Like Jarvan's really good for owner too.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying that like I think that Jarvan's better for Peanut Kanavi than owner. Like I don't know. Peanut for me is like one of the best Jarvans, and it also opens up Poppy, which is really good for Peanut.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's that much Jarvan.
But I don't know. I actually like for me it's just like for T1, I actually think that Asia Games is really good for Keria. Like there was a lot of talk around how him working with Como was really good. And for me, like that guy is a freak talent. And it was like
he is.
He looked burned out like during LCK, especially like without Faker, right? I'm just hoping that like we see Keria like look okay. Because if he does, like, I really think that he can bolster owner's play. Because all of a sudden, bot lane, like, carries a great laner. And then he also is very good at impacting the map. And that's when the T1 engine is able to run, right? So I actually have some hope for T1. I think that you can never count them out, right? They're not a favorite, but they can never be counted out, right?
I mean, I'll give you my finals prediction. I think it's going to be LNG versus T1.
Well, that'd be fun as hell. That'd be fun as hell, actually. I'm on board for this. Yeah, I'm on board for that.
I think it's really interesting to see how T1 mentally recover when it comes to later on in the tournament, given last year's very disappointing result. Because I think everyone kept expecting what the fuck are they called? Jesus Christ. DK. How will they ever win? Or not DK. What? DRX, thank you. Like DRX should have lost 3 series ago. What happened? And they just kept going up. And I mean that's how it was, right? Like everyone kept counting them out the whole time. And I'm really curious how T1 will like be mentally, because they're like back at the stage, back in the like later stages of the tournament. It's like, is something gonna click and go wrong, or will they be like, okay, we've been here, we know how to fucking crush this, and we just go. I think that's going to be like a really interesting turning point once they get deep into the tournament. Of course, assuming they do, which I do assume will happen.
That's fair.
At least from a coach perspective, that's very interesting.
Yeah. Like I will say that like that team of like any and all teams, like they're the ones that like it just feels like they're challenged 24/7, right? And I think that like there are like perks and advantages to that later down the road, if that makes like any sense, right? Like if you're gonna be challenged always, then like I feel like the people that are always challenged are the ones that like can end up coming out on top. I think for me it's just like, can Faker and a couple of the pieces around him be good enough, right? Because like it is kind of on Faker to be good enough, right? This guy's like he's an okay player now, right? Like I said it, like he's a good player, not a great player. He's great because like he makes the team run, right? And T1 was kind of in shambles without him.
Right? That's the thing. We saw that.
Frankly, that's kind of embarrassing for T1. If we want to talk about coach perspective, that's pretty embarrassing what they look like, right?
I think Jomar is gonna keep that paycheck rolling for sure. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
They look horrific without him. I think for T1 it's gonna be really interesting to see against the LPL team how just top lane does.
Yeah, because for me, like the Zeus versus 369 argument for last year, I always favored Zeus. I said like when we get this matchup, It was the matchup that I wanted to see. They were the two best top laners in the tournament. It was very clear. But I favored Zeus a little bit, and I can't say that this time around. I think 369 is undoubtedly the best top laner in the tournament.
I mean, Bin, I think, is also like super fucking good too, right? I mean,
this is a good matter for Bin too. Yeah.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's really tough. I think it's really, really tough. And again, shout out to Broken Blade. I think he can do a lot. It's just gonna be about the rest of the map, right? I mean, of course, but still, I think this can be a really, really good tournament for Broken Blade. And surprisingly, because I don't think we see it that often, he is incredibly vocal. Like he leads the team oftentimes. And if he's gonna be feeling it, he's gonna be comfortable. I mean, maybe the team will go even further, right?
Boom.
We'll see.
Didn't age well, but boom.
Hey.
I knew he was the future.
Let's go.
I thought that before it happened, knowing we would suck, and then what happened?
I was so
First
sad
ever
watching him go
0-6.
in there.
Whoa, no, you were not the first ever 0-6. Thank you very much.
Oh, okay. Well, felt like
2019 Clutch has that distinct honor.
Clutch.
All right,
forgot
most
what that was
recent
for a
0-6. No, Broken Blade, I'll always have a soft spot for him.
One final point on T1. Do you guys believe in like the last drive effect?
Like
because everyone says this is the last chance, right?
Yeah, like you have a big player. Like to quote a few examples in football, you have the NFL Giants. Like Michael Strahan made it public that it was going to be like his final run. They end up going on to win. Jerome Bettis with the Pittsburgh Steelers did it. Joe Flacco with the Ravens, or sorry, not Joe Flacco. Ray Lewis with the Ravens did it.
Joe Flacco won the Super Bowl.
Tom Brady did it 3 times.
There's a lot of examples where when you go into playoffs or like you just have this external factor of, hey, either this is my last one or we as a team know that we're going to break up after this. And from the sounds of it, T1 is not going to remain the same next year, regardless of what happens this year. There's that, fuck it. Like, just ignore everything else. Just give it everything we got, one final chance, and go at it. And for whatever reason, it allows people to put some differences aside and just click a little bit better. Is there a chance that T1 has that boost? Like, do you believe in that theory enough to the point where you would be able to say that you have any faith at all that T1 could win this entire thing?
It only matters.
T1 is my favorite in the first place, but I'd say it adds a little bit fuel to the fire, right?
It only matters if Faker says he's done after this, or it's his like last year with T1.
I feel like it could be, given the injury or the significance of the injury that we were hearing early on. If he wins one, that's why would you ever play again?
It's like that effect. Like
I mean, that can be argued 4 years ago now, no? Because he was the first to win so much. Like,
but like this is different. Like now, like back then, you're never gonna consider retiring in, quite frankly, what I would say is like the prime of his career. Like now, you have a very apparent injury that is going to hamper the rest of your career if you try to continue playing. And if you win the title, realistically, I don't know if you're guaranteed to ever get another chance like this ever again.
And he's good out for military service.
It only matters. Like all the names you listed from those examples, those guys were the leaders in the clubhouse. It only matters if Faker says he's done after this. If that comes out, then I will say it matters. But until that comes out, I don't really think it matters that much. No one else looks up to Faker the way that like no one else looks up to Faker and the way that no one else looks up to any other player like people look up to Faker. It's just
he is League of Legends.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think that factor actually goes against them. I think because I only say that because of the Faker situation this year, where we saw there is no team without him, which gives me really, really, really bad. I don't think highly then of their coaching staff and their management, if that was the case. And I think if you're gonna be able to go so deep and to recover from everything, you need more support outside of your 5 players. You just do. I really believe that, at least. Maybe I'm just delusional because I'm the coach and
You're right. That's exactly why NRG is getting out.
Well, didn't he
they have
resign?
50 fucking coaches, right?
Didn't their coach resign while Faker was injured?
I forget what there was. There was something. Yeah, I forget what that was.
I forget exactly what happened, but I'm also aligned that like the T1 that we saw, I think all 4 of those players should be embarrassed. It was the mid laner was actually playing like Poby was playing fine. Like it's not like he was doing great. But like what else can you expect? Like he wasn't good in challengers, right?
Yeah.
He was actually doing his job, and everyone else was so lost. It was actually so sad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Bengi
it's
resigned halfway through LCK summer season in the middle of the Poby run.
What was
mean,
he? Was he like a assistant coach or something, strategic or something?
No,
I
he
don't
was
think
their head coach, and he resigned July 8th. Yeah.
Faker can't win without Bengi, so I guess it's doomed for T1. You know?
I mean,
Yeah. Well, it just makes me worried about their coaching in the sense of like, how do you keep? Well, how do you? I guess not how you keep them motivated. They're motivated as is probably. But how do you keep them focused if you're not really even able to keep your coaches on staff? Like,
I mean, also, who stepped up to the head coaching role? Are they
I have no
were they
idea.
ready? That's the thing. Like,
yeah.
maybe this was very surprising, and then you need to prepare for Worlds against all of these fucking teams. I mean, Christ.
Well, they did make a run
Not
though.
that easy.
They made second in LCK playoffs after he resigned.
Yes, but I do think that is a big factor. First of all, I think they were kind of underestimated given what was
okay.
the situation beforehand, and I don't know. It's like they just got their second win. I think they potentially blew off all their steam. Potentially, I don't know.
You've got Tom and Roach, as Tom is the interim head coach. Roach is the other coach on staff.
Oh, Roach
I
was
have
a
no,
jungler, I think.
I have no clue who either of them are.
Oh, I think Tom has been there for a long time.
Tom's been there for a long time.
Right?
He's like
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
like the manager. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
think Roach was a jungler in LCK.
Roach was a jungler. That's a deep cut. That's some good memory right there.
I mean, I've been around.
Yeah,
for a while.
that's a deep cut.
Yeah.
So do you think anybody can crack JDG's team fighting then?
LNG can.
LNG.
If Genji are performing, I think they can also. I think you have Paze and Trophy, right? I mean, at the end of the day, if they perform, they perform.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's an interesting world for sure, because I think, considering even the years where LPL won Worlds, I still feel like it was more top heavy, where you had that one team. For the most part, where I feel like this year it's actually 3 fucking good teams. Maybe BLG not as high in my mind.
You have JDG, you have JDG, LNG, and
I'm saying
BLG.
LPLGs. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant for the whole tournament. Sorry.
No. That's like I think this is like a really good Worlds for LPL for that reason, compared to others, even when they won. Because I feel like even the years they won, I never considered those like rosters or anything like too special. To me, at least. To me, the goats will always be like, I think it was season 3 SKT, because it was just Faker coming out of nowhere and just destroying the whole world.
Yeah.
Season 5 SKT was decent because they had like unbelievable performances even in bot lane. It's just crazy.
I thought
and then
season
like Samsung
4
White. Yeah.
I was about to say season 4 White and Blue were so much better than everyone else.
I love Samsung. I fucking love the Dandy Mata, right? Dandy Mata duo. Oh my god. That lives forever in my memory. It was unbelievable how they just destroyed the map at that time. Keep in mind, that's season 4.
Yeah.
That's disgusting. They were so far ahead of everyone on the map. And then Blue was the like interesting rival who unfortunately didn't make it like to the finals to have like the extra hype, but
the gross part about that year was that Blue beat them all year. And then KT won, and then KT like played they got knocked out very early on, right? But the KT versus Blue series is like that's a very memorable one too.
It was incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I mean I'll always remember also Showmaker finally getting his trophy. Oh, I love my Showmaker. Everyone has to love Showmaker, right? I mean the guy is
you have to love. The
Cassandra
copy cost has been so good.
Death taxes loving Showmaker.
Did you see Dep's response to that like questionnaire they did for LCK players going into like the bot lane focus, and he was like, "I want to win because then it's gonna make Showmaker cry again." Like he's like, Showmaker really wants to win. It's gonna make him sad.
Might be a little bit too based.
But it doesn't matter. All this talk is all good and well, but you know, LPL is gonna win anyways. So.
All right, Mizzell.
So final thing to wrap it up, because I've had you guys on here for a while and I don't want to hold up much more of your time if you got anywhere to be. give me the 2 upsets that would make it through Swiss stage. That would obviously prevent a 4 LPL, 4 LCK.
I mean,
Has to be
G2,
2.
I think has to be.
I know.
G2.
That's why I'm asking for 2 because I know it's going to be
Yeah.
G2. But who do you knock down? Is it Damwon and Weibo? And then who's the second you put up for either EU or NA?
I think NRG are making it.
I think you're delusional.
Underdogs, baby. I think it's gotta be NRG G2.
It's actually so hard for me to pick the second EU team. It's so it's such a switch. It really is.
Yeah, I don't think a second EU team gets out. I think it's got to be, for me, it's G2 and C9. I'll just put my stocks in Berserker and Blibber. I think those
That's
are
fair. That's
two of the better players that we're sending. So like, if I have to choose anyone, it'll probably be those guys.
And then who misses because of that?
I'd say that Weibo and Damwon. But Damwon is like kind of weird to me because I think that team has like very clear weaknesses, but also like Canyon and Defs are going to perform. Like I'm pretty confident in that, right? So they just end up being like this weird enigma of a team to me that I just cannot explain.
I think Showmaker can still also perform. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, he can't.
Meta is good for him.
Yeah, it's good. I just I get, for whatever reason, I have more faith in the other players. That's all.
No,
But,
that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
But I think just because of meta, I think it can actually be a pretty good tournament for Showmaker.
Yeah. You get him and Canyon, the meta got a little bit more in their wheelhouse for sure. Yeah.
Fuck it, I'll say G2 Mad. I'll say Mad.
Same man.
Oh.
Well, by
Wow.
that logic, they have an easy first round matchup, you know.
We'll see.
As
I'll
much as
tell you why while David thinks, okay?
as much as I
I
want,
coached
and...
Carzy. Oh, sorry.
Oh no, go.
Okay, I coached Carzy when he was 14. I saw that kid just being a Draven one-trick and challenger. The kid has it. He fucking has it. I mean, the guy is...
I like it.
The guy has it.
Really, because his owner
coached
doesn't
him-
believe so.
His what?
Oh yeah, when his owner said that stuff about him on
Hmm.
Mad Lions.
Matt Lyon's owner said he doesn't have it.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. Deep cut, brother.
No,
Deep
wait,
cut.
wasn't that about Flacket? Wait.
No.
Deep cut.
No,
No, that was about Carzy.
it was about Carzy and they
Was that?
replaced him.
Okay. Oh yeah, I mean that guy was. No, Carzy is like. I mean, we saw he came in after winning EU Masters, came into LDC, performed, won 2, 3 trophies now. The guy's really good, and I think that's the issue with the other EU teams. I don't know about Noah. I actually think Noah has been overrated. He hit rank 1 in EU solo queue, whatever. In competitive, I have not been a big fan. I just haven't.
Hmm.
And
any
then
like
Crowley, I don't
reason
know.
why, or like any
Just
like,
looking at the performance, like the actual micro,
Yeah.
how he maneuvers later on in the game, pressure gets to him. I think I've seen that, and I don't know. I feel like he can't recover. That's the biggest issue. I feel like
Okay.
he really can't recover. Because even in solo queue, any challenger EU bot laner will tell you he will play like a fucking demon. He will take your tower in 3 minutes. But if that doesn't happen, he's nothing. He's a minion for the whole game. That's how he is, and that's the issue. I think he will get a reality check. You know, that's the thing. So I don't have too much trust there. Even though I really like Trimby, I really like Oscar and Razork. Humanoids, a flip in my mind always, just because I know some insider stuff I can't say. But yeah, it's just I think Noah's the issue there, because I think they can hold their own at the start, but then when it comes to 30-40 minute fights, they will be lacking that X factor. And then with how we saw BDS, I think they might be too tired and too stressed at this point. And that, especially to Crowley, will be too detrimental, potentially. So that's why I will just take Mad. Go ahead, David. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, the only thing I was gonna say is, I know I get a bad rep with C9 fans already. They think that I hate them and that I hate their org.
Oh, you do.
I don't. I don't.
Just no.
But I want anybody but C9 to get out, whether it's TL or NRG to get. We need one other organization in our org's history or in our region's history to get out. It cannot just keep being them. I
You know
wonder.
what?
In the future, I agree. for NA's health moving forward, it has to be someone.
Realistically, like TL would be like the best for like OG League fans, like those that have been around for a while. But I fucking love Andy Miller. Now, granted, I'm biased because he worked with Hex in the Optic days, so like I know more about him than I do literally any other owner in League of Legends, barring Hex. The guy gets it more than most. He understands the business, he understands the marketing, his pedigree, both in esports and outside of it with his SMS companies, working for Steve Jobs for a while. The dude just fucking gets it. To come in and, yes, it would be on the shoulders of what Greg Kim and the CLG folks did over there, and they deserve all the credit in the world, and I feel horrible for Greg. NRG having a hot start like this could be exactly what we need as a region to finally just have a team that people can put a little bit of faith in and know the org's going to do the right thing in content, that they're always going to field some sort of competitive team, or at least they're starting off in that way. And as long as they sustain that over time, they'd be good. Like, just the long-term optics of NRG making it out here would be more beneficial than any of the other two teams doing it.
I think you could argue TL. I think you have a lot of, I guess, history with Core JJ, and obviously a lot of new fandom with Jan and APA. So I could like argue that a little bit, but I would agree, like, at least one of these two just make it out, please, and not see that.
That's interesting. I mean, I'm down for NA team at this point to get out. Like, we're
to be clear, I'm with you there.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that in terms of how it was built, I actually do favor. I can see the argument for it being a little bit better for the region if NRG or TL get out. Just, I think that proving that sourcing talent here overall it's cheaper, and I think where the market's headed, then I think teams are going to do that regardless because they have to for next year. But I've always advocated for talent here, and it'd be nice to see that get rewarded.
Just wait until Sniper comes in next year and 100 Thieves wins Worlds, baby. We're on the
Best of luck
track.
with that.
We're on the track. Just
Best of luck.
don't question it. We're fine. We got this.
The pays of top lane.
Wait, that actually is a very interesting comparison. I mean,
It was a joke. It was a joke.
It's okay. Obviously, it's a joke. Obviously, it's a joke because we're not at that same ceiling at all. But like, how many other players have we had come in and start that young in the last 5 years?
How old was Busio?
Busio was 15, and when he was playing mid. But no one Sniper is the first person that's like legitimately a generational prospect. If you take into account who his family is. And I find that very interesting. Like, he actually is a generational prospect with pedigree, which has never really happened in this game before, which I find very exciting about Sniper. And
I'm actually sad about Busio.
Why?
That he doesn't perform. Like, for whatever reason it may be. I don't know what it is. I love Busio.
I love that kid. I love that kid.
Same.
I see his solo queue, like how he thinks, how he actually plays the game. He is not fucking bad. I
really
genuinely recommend him to my players to watch.
Yeah,
that is
really
genuinely a big compliment because I don't recommend all the fucking players, especially English-speaking ones, given our situation. But that's the thing. Genuinely, he's fucking good. I really want to be in those fucking scrim meetings and everything to see what the fuck is up.
Yeah,
because I have not seen him perform on stage.
No, I mean, we watched this kid in Challengers, and the year of development he had playing support for that 1 year was actually like one of the most ridiculous arcs I've seen out of like any player that's come through our system. So
I actually didn't know he was a mid.
Yeah.
He was 100 Thieves scouted him. He was number 2 on their mid list and number 1, if they could get him to swap to support.
He's a pretty damn good LeBlanc.
He's got it. I don't know. I like the kid. He's got a good head on his shoulders, and I always root for him, and I will continue to always root for him. But
same.
Yeah, I was really bummed that. Obviously, I think 100 Thieves had a lot of issues, more than just Busio. But yeah.
Okay, will NA ever win Worlds, guys?
No.
Thank you.
One day.
No.
Oh, God, no.
In 30 years.
Maybe in a
No
show
chance.
match. Maybe a streamer match.
Look,
Hey,
I think there was. I don't know.
It only took us 100 years to get competitive in soccer. We're feeling good about league.
Oh.
We can do it.
Would you
50.
say
Are we
you're competitive in
I
soccer?
don't know.
I don't know.
Hey,
Ask
not
the,
with
me
ask
here.
the
I'll
women's
leave if
team
you
how
wanna
we're
talk
doing
about
right
it.
now.
Hold on. Polshik? Pretty sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's my
The
hometown
LeBron
boy,
James
but
of soccer. What
Yeah,
are you
you mean the
talking
guy with the fucking Eastern European name? Yeah.
He's pretty sick though.
I mean,
wait, by that
Hey, we're a
by that
country of
metric, do I
imports.
count as European then?
no,
If you want.
no. You lost.
If
your
you're gonna
chance.
count his last name, my last name sure as fuck
called
counts.
me. You called me NA adjacent. You lost your EU privilege.
Let me ask you, what, in your Twitter bio,
Single-handedly, get me an LCS contract. Then I'll think about it.
I ain't got that kind of pull, dude. TikTok doesn't mean shit to
And
half
I'm
the
lucky,
orgs.
okay?
TikTok.
It is what it is.
I wish it
Oh.
did. Shit, my life might be a
Yes,
little bit different right
my
now.
bio. I know. It is what it is. It's a sad year. Okay?
What
It is what it
org?
is.
What org is in your bio?
Immortals and Maryville.
Maryville, I respect.
I mean, hey, the first college team to actually make it through. Hey,
Agreed.
proud of the boys.
Big
Proud
college
of the
level fan. I'm talking about the other
Good.
one.
boys. Look. I will only say I am
Oh,
under
this is a shit talk
NDA,
podcast.
and God, I would talk so much more.
Brother, I already got myself in
Love
trouble
it.
with NDAs. Don't say a word.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They have
the,
nice people, they have good people, but there's always issues, right? Of course.
The teasing of the song, you know.
Last time I ever
like it,
blindly
yeah.
trust that Dagon knows his shit. That's all I'm saying. I saw him post something. I thought we were fine, like to do that because it wasn't expressly stated. Then we got a very strongly worded email.
Oh no.
But
No,
all is
but
good.
besides my time on Immortals or whatever, I've heard a lot because I have, of course, a lot of like EU players or coaches or whatever have been to the region now. This is why I don't think NA can will merge. It's just the systematic problems are unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, it's I mean, I think it's gotten better over the last like 2 years I've covered this, but I think that NA tried to solve all their problems with money and never actually solved any problems at all because they tried to fix it with money, and now we don't have money, and we'll see what happens next year.
I think the easiest, simplest way I can put it is NA teams feel a lot more like just a company.
Yeah,
That's the problem.
that is
That's
such a fair
problem.
statement.
It's such a problem.
That's why I love seeing the content creator teams start being made because it is towards the players and not towards the business.
I love this
It
guy's
is not
post.
MSG. It is actual people who care about other human beings.
I love those. I don't know if you guys saw, because I just saw on Twitter, because I don't follow TFT at all. He was doing a stream where a fucking winner of the TFT tournament will just get an esports contract for him, for his team.
Yep.
That's sick. That's sick.
Yeah,
Do
it's
shit
really
like
sick.
that. It's
It's
sick.
player
Like,
focused and
I
not
love that
business
stuff.
focused, and that's what we need in esports.
Yes. Even though he's burning through all his money, you know, it is what it is.
I think
but
he's
that's
doing
like the
alright.
love, you know. No, he talked about losses publicly. It's awful. At least with just the esports itself. Like, yeah, he makes a lot of money elsewhere, but esports itself, oh, that's a big hole in his pocket right now.
Yeah, for sure.
But
yeah,
that's the
it's
issue
a love
with NA
letter.
for me.
He can also fold it into his content business, and it's okay.
I have no problem with him losing that
It's
amount.
terrible.
I have issue with Sentinels losing 700,000 a month.
Oh,
that was
happens.
hilarious, actually.
That's
Well,
fucking
It
ridiculous.
happens.
It was hilarious.
Let me try and go to any of my bosses and say, hey, so hear me out, okay?
big
We're
Disney.
planning to FY26. What do you think about almost $1 million losses a month?
Yo,
Pog
we
or
just
no
gotta
pog?
get Disney into esports, bro. We just gotta get Disney here.
Hey.
We do like a Mickey Mouse team. We got like Donald Ducks.
No comment.
I got something better for you. Army Esports is recruiting.
Oh,
And we
yeah.
can build. We can build. If you want to build the absolute Armageddon of esports teams
That is sick.
that will crush every opponent,
You're actually
That's
not
like-
wrong.
No, you would have jets flying over with banners to advertise and all the fucking time. Like, holy shit.
Army
That's sick,
versus
that's sick.
Navy League of Legends game would be the hardest thing of the year in America.
on an aircraft carrier.
Oh my god, yeah.
That's the only way we get esports to hit in America. We go to
Make
all
sure
the
it's
old whites
outside.
and we go, hey,
Oh,
I know
God.
you hate video games and you hate esports, but guess what? We got cannons in the back, M249s on the sides. Every kill, somebody gets shot. And then they
Oh
go,
God.
it's like, okay, baby. Now they're loading up.
Yeah.
American
Uh,
esports is back.
I mean, that's one
actually,
way to
GB
get
already
kids.
has like
We're so Barack.
Yo,
Yeah.
I started thinking about your question of when NA is gonna win Worlds.
not
It'll
when,
be when League of Legends 2 comes out and everybody's playing League of Legends 2, and then NA makes their own tournament called Worlds for League of Legends 1, and then they'll win that.
That's a classic. Yeah.
We'll call
They'll
it the
have like
World
24
Series.
viewers, you know.
The World Series of League of Legends 2.
It'll be back
Oh,
in
God.
Freak's basement. It'll be like full circle, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
Oh, hold on. That actually sounds lit. Freak's Basement. Let's go.
The National
That
League
is
of
like-
Legends
He,
champion.
he's got that Riot management money now. Like his basement
True.
might be a little bit
He
nicer
That
than it
upgraded
once
pretty
was.
good, yeah.
Man, if I talk about Freak, I'll get in trouble. I can't. I cannot say things on air about Freak. I cannot.
Don't worry,
I
I
can't.
tried. I said them all last week.
Yeah, but the thing
He's
is, my
killing
job relies
Juggle
on
for
his
me.
decisions about the game. That's the
Oh,
issue.
that's
The IE 40% change was good.
Oh yeah, give me one of
Yo,
1,000
Caitlyn-
fucking
Caitlyn all day.
awful god. Nah. Horrific. The guy is stuck in fucking Diamond 4 in the worst server on the planet and thinks he needs the role to be stronger. That's the fucking issue of the game balance. I will
Doesn't
stop
he
it there.
not? He's not even on the ADC like team. I think he's not even allowed to touch ADC champs.
I think that's major cap considering what we've seen.
Well, I like read something about it, but obviously I'm a Twitter Andy, so who knows what I'm
A
reading.
Twitter Andy that still hasn't fixed his shit to allow me to tag him in tweets.
I changed it already. That's on Elon. That's on Elon
That's
at
on
this
Elon.
point.
That's only
He's the one with the $400 billion car company. You'd think he'd make Twitter a little quicker, you know?
I don't know. As long as he keeps sending out those impression checks, I'm fine. I like Elon.
Oh yeah, you're farming, huh?
I can't pass those. It sucks.
Engagement. Engagement whores are gonna
I'll
win
keep
it
liking
all.
your tweets, David. I got you.
I appreciate it.
Help a brother out, you know.
It's been dry the last few weeks with no NA, no nothing
for
for me
business.
to go on. It's been very
And
dry.
It's gonna be a dry couple months real quick. Don't worry.
Well, Worlds isn't an NA tournament.
Yeah, not like waking up at fucking 1 a.m. or 6 a.m. to try and watch these games. It's so fun.
Yeah.
Give me
Just
back
get a
in
nice
I don't know.
job. Too
Go
easy.
cover some like diamond tournament. I don't know. Fucking.
Can I
It's
just
something
say,
fun,
just
hey,
in
bro.
terms of
That
the
could be
Worlds
fun.
format, dude, the Swiss stage, there are so many games in a single day. It is insane.
I love it.
Literally, League of Legends is going to be on for 10 hours every day. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I like the format so much better though, because we're gonna get so many matchups that you just like straight up 1-2C.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's
I
fair,
agree.
They just gotta fix the
But my
seating.
brain for 10 hours is going to be watching League of Legends. It's going to be hard.
It's gonna be like work again.
Yeah, almost.
You gotta fix the seating. You gotta put those pools to just be Korea, China 1-2 in pool 1, and then adjust it from there.
Yeah.
Like
No, I mean, okay.
Ew.
If we're honest, we can't keep the seating at like how it is also for NA. Like at
no,
all, right?
look, my solution has been this:
At all.
similar to college football, you get a group, you get a committee together or a panel together to independently rank the 16 teams that qualify for Swiss stage, and then you just have that seating that then filters in every time.
I think just use previous tournament results. I think that's fine.
I-
To
no,
give
just-
seating and slots.
Use the Dota 2 format. They dropped it. It's like the best format ever. Just use that.
What is
It's
it?
cool.
I have
Oh, that
zero idea
format was a
what
bang.
TI is.
So you
No, this
had
format's really good.
I forget how many groups.
I got
was
it.
it just 2?
Yeah. So the way that it works is that the tournament starts with 18 teams, and there are 2 groups of 9. You play
Okay.
everyone in your group, and then however you do in your group affects your placement in the bracket. So if you get top 4 in the group, you get 2 lives in the bracket. If you're 5 through 8 in the group, you get 1 life in the bracket, and you play like a best of 1 versus other teams to decide like whoever gets out. And then if you are bottom of the group, you're out of the tournament. But you get
I like
8
that.
games. Like 8 games. Now Riot will never do this because they are convinced that they have to stream every game on its own in its own time slot, like on their main channel.
And
that's why Dota 2 was able to accomplish this, because they don't have that requirement. But I think the format's sick. You get all the dream matchups that you want. Like,
yeah,
the fun of Worlds for me is seeing, like, I want to see the LPL and the LCK teams clash, right? Like, I want to see EU versus, like, I want as many matchups of that as possible. Like, I think playing teams twice is lame.
Yeah, I agree.
So I think this achieves that, or does a much better job at achieving that.
I think
I do also hate.
distaste I've had was the MSI, just because, like, wow, this is great.
Oh, you mean when every team played each other 50 times? Oh,
yeah. And then we're just getting, like, LPL rematches.
I could not watch it. I could not watch it. It was horrific to watch.
It was done.
I think I don't like being a Worlds team, even if you're, like, not in play-ins, and just getting out on best of ones. I don't like it very much. That's the main issue for me. Because I think adaptation is way too important in League. I don't know how it is in Dota. I assume it is quite important too. But it's too important, I think. Just mentally, considering drafts and preparation, I think it's way too important.
So Dota...
Well, I really like play-ins.
I think the stage I described you in Dota, I think those were all best of 2s or best of 3s.
I think they were best of 2s.
In Dota, what map you're on matters a lot.
That's fair.
So yeah.
I mean, if it's like that, then yeah. But also, that is a fuck ton of games, no?
It was, but the thing that they had going for them, that a reason why it will never work for Worlds, is they didn't change locations. It was in the same spot at all times, which allowed them to do it. Which is why, if you want to do MSI like this, it would be incredible. And it was
I'm down to remove MSI, by the way. I hate the tournament.
It was best of 2s, by the way, for TI group stage.
Okay.
That can be interesting, yeah.
And then the brackets, yeah. I mean, my favorite event style will always be like old school Call of Duty events. Those were the best for me. Because you had...
I personally... Go ahead.
Are you familiar with the format at all of those?
I have no clue how it is. I might be.
You had 12 teams that automatically qualified from online like qualifiers and points that seeded directly into 4 groups similar to what we had at Old Worlds. The final 4 spots that would fill up the bottom of each pool were from an open bracket. You could literally pay $250, get your team in, you come in and play, and by Saturday you play a shit ton of games on Friday, just best of 3 Call of Duty games, which go by quick. And then the top 4 teams slot into the pool or the group stage, which then feeds into a double elim bracket, where similar to Dota, the top 3 teams get 2 lives, the bottom team of each group gets 1.
Okay, interesting. I don't mind how fighting games and Rocket League, I believe, do it, where you have bracket resets. I don't mind that at all.
I think bracket resets in League are a little too long, though.
It's so
hard.
The issue is because you can't tell a fucking team to play 2 best of 5s against the same team on one day. I think that is actually torture, and you will go to jail for it. I don't think you can do that. So that would be the biggest issue with planning your actual Worlds Finals day, because you don't know if it's gonna be day 1 or on the bracket reset.
It also can be a really bad viewing experience. I mean, we just had it this past weekend at Halo Worlds.
What did though?
So Halo Worlds this past weekend, Optic came in from upper bracket, FaZe came in from lower bracket. FaZe didn't lose. I think FaZe won every game but 1, I think. So they reset the bracket, and then like the second best of 7 was there, and you're just watching it knowing like, I'm waiting 35 minutes to see them win this tournament. Like, it's the biggest waste.
Okay, it sounds insane, but I don't mind the humiliation coming from bottom fucking lower bracket and just destroying them like that. I don't mind it.
It's not bad, but like in Halo, that's not bad. 4 games was an hour at most.
Oh god, that is not close. Yeah.
But in League,
yeah, that's the issue with League.
Full best of 5. That's a lot.
That's hard.
Could you do a best of 7 where you spot them a game, maybe? The winner?
You could, but you know how pissy League fans get.
No, I don't care. Leave it best of 5, give them a win. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, Just give them.
I don't give a
winners,
shit. I
think,
think we're
maybe.
too fucking soft in league.
Best of
Well, yeah,
seven,
league
fearless.
fans like are not.
Oh my
I've
God.
always been like struggling with league fans because I'm a college
Yeah.
basketball fan, so
Yep.
I'm just used to madness and
I
an
come from
NFL
boxing,
fan.
so
Yeah,
yeah.
so it's like I'm like, hey, you get in there. None of this mamby-pamby. We need a good
Yeah.
condition to win, and you
Nah.
be a man and you suffer for the whole tournament, and you
And you don't
pray that
shower
your
for a
team,
month.
yeah, doesn't show up. Like if you choke one game, your whole life's over, and everybody hates you, and that's being
It's
a
awesome.
man.
It's
Yeah.
awesome. It's a great format. It
Yo,
really is fun.
It's so addictive because you get to watch teams
Uh.
like I don't know, Purdue. It's like a number 1 seed lose to a 16 seed. Like
Yeah, lose their fucking mind.
watching college kids just have a mental breakdown on a court for 40 minutes is electricity. No,
Yeah.
but I don't know if league fans could take that because we already hated watching Carrier cry. So
Oh God,
I would love.
swear.
Here's the problem: if Paul was at World's Finals, if he saw Carrier cry, he would find the nearest T1 fan and start shit talking them, and then just like
Well-
point at Carrier, and be like, "This is your god."
I would imagine him running up to the stage and just taking a
Yeah.
selfie. You know?
How many people did you
I
nearly
would
fight
just-
at the Final Four?
I didn't
Jesus.
fight people. I didn't fight people. People would talk trash.
What
and I would
what
just
school?
talk back. Duke. I went to the Duke Carolina final, and I'm a Carolina fan.
Oh, you're the
And
worst.
I watched them. I watched Coach K's last game. Get
All right,
beat by
that's
Carolina.
bad. That's actually badass.
That's it.
Yeah.
I listened to that on
And-
the radio. Yeah.
I respect that too.
And I was there, and this one chick was talking trash to me. It was a controversial joke, and I understand that. But at the time, it was very topical and it was good. She had on a Duke women's swimming team shirt, and she said, "You guys suck. You'll lose to the next team." And I said, "Leah Thomas would whoop your ass," because that was the person transitioning at the time who was winning every swimming meet.
Oh.
And I was like, "She'll destroy you." And they all looked at me, and all these dudes got so mad. And I just went, "Well, that's my life." And I just stood there.
Oh my.
I was like, and they all just stared at me, and they were like, "You can't say that." And I was like, "Didn't know. Sorry." And I shook their hand and walked away. I was like,
Jesus
Did it mean-
Christ.
to make you all mad. I was like, I know when to take it off the gas. I know when people are upset enough that they're actually about to stab me over a basketball game.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was like, hey, I do love basketball and I love trash talking, but you know what I love more?
Not enough to get
Watching the
stabbed.
next game. Yeah. I was like, I love the next game.
Oh,
I was
man.
like, so have a good day.
Oh, yeah. Actually, you saying the open bracket thing, David, for COD, reminded me of way back in the day. I don't know if anyone here was following that level at the time, at least. Where we had Challenger Series as a tier 2. I
Not
think
me.
in NA also, but it was in EU. And you had ranked teams back then on the ladder. Top 16 teams, at least in Europe, again, I don't know how it was for NA, top 16 teams were entered into the bracket to qualify for Challenger Series, which was literally just Division 2 in Europe. You
Same
would be in
thing.
the top 20 teams. Yeah? Was
You had
the
to play
same?
ranked
Yeah.
teams. Yeah.
I figured.
I
yeah.
remember like
That was so sick.
It was sick?
I love that shit.
it was
I loved
sick because our college, like we would
Mhm.
actually roll the dice and like
Yeah.
queue up for ranked teams. Like we ended up playing against like really good teams back then. Like we're in Challenger Series, right?
Mhm.
And we get fucking chasmed, but it was fun.
It's sick. It's just sick,
Yeah,
to,
it
be,
was sick.
to have the chance, I think. It's
You know,
just sick to
Valorant
have the
yeah,
has
chance to
that
do
now. Valorant literally has that.
Yeah.
Have all the cool stuff.
I know.
I swear,
It's like-
I swear, they hate me so fucking much. Everything I love, it just gets taken away from me.
I've been pushing Premiere Mode ever since it got announced to come to League.
Yeah.
It would be that would be not the saving grace, but it would return so much of like the esports side of it, especially in North America, back to where we were at the start and what made people fall in love with it. Of just being able to queue up with 5 guys and just try and make it into the NACL and qualify through there. It'd be great.
I think for NA for sure. I think EU doesn't need it as much just because the ERL system is the best amateur system in any region. It's not
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
But there are still, of course, because there are so many orgs, so much management issues, whatever. It is a disgusting hellhole, unfortunately. That's the sad part, because so many hungry 14, 15, 16-year-olds come through and they just get met with the most disgusting shit. They will get scammed for 3 years straight and then quit. That's the sad part of it. That's the issue with it being so big. Because Riot does not care, unfortunately. And until Riot cares and actually punishes the orgs, I don't care about them doing proper checks on every little thing. Punish the fucking organizations. It is so disgusting. That's the thing. But we'll see. Maybe one day we'll get there. Because everyone has hated EU Masters also. Format, seeding, everything. Forever.
Yeah.
And
Off
they
stream, I
never
can give
touch it.
you. Off stream, I can give you my rants about agents. That's a fun one.
Okay.
That's actually cute for me. It has been an hour and 43 minutes, and I got to get this uploaded to Spotify. So,
It's been fun.
any final
It's been
words
fun.
to
It's been a
everybody
blast.
coming on? Thank you so much for taking time out of your days. Mazel, make sure you enjoy vacation.
We got a week left. I'll try to make most of it.
The fact that you're on a
LCK is
podcast.
winning worlds. You're all noobs. Final word.
LPL is gonna trash every single player that is not from the LPL.
And
All
not from the
turn them
LCS,
on.
because all
It's
the
not even
LCS
close.
teams are getting out.
Nah.
Yeah.
It should have one world slot. Let's go. In play-ins, by the way.
All right, stream. I'm ending it there. We'll catch you later. Adios. See ya. Thank you for tuning in.
See ya.
All right, stream is off.